come take my hand.
Corey Landsberg and Ken Belanger back with you. This is the first time we've done this in a while. How's it going, Ken?
Good. How you doing, bud?
Fantastic. Four of the teams are halfway to Lord Stanley, and then another, I don't know, I'm not very good at math, but the other 12 teams in the playoffs, not so good. Let's start off with Boston, Philly. Boston swept them. Philly's goaltending, possibly the worst I've ever seen. What do you think?
Yeah, when you can't get stability, when you're swapping out two goalies every game, it just doesn't give the team stability, doesn't give the team confidence, nor does it give the goalie confidence. So all around, it gives the instability from the fans to the team, and it's difficult to win.
What's it like being on the bench, sitting there, knowing that, hey, I've done my job, that guy's done his job, everybody else is doing their job, but we got this sieve at the other end of the ice who's letting in terrible goals. What does that do for a team?
Well, it comes down to accountability. With the team, everybody has a role, and everyone's expected to do the role. And I think the discouraging part comes when it's been in, somewhat throughout the season where they didn't know who number one was going to be. And on a nightly basis, whenever there's a bad goal going, it just deflates the team. And here we go again. And now they put the other kid in. The other goalie goes in and makes a big save, and, they scores a weak goal. And here we go again. So it really becomes, a big confidence issue. As we can see any teams in the playoffs with Tampa Bay, you got good goaltending, it gives you a chance to win. As soon as you got poor goaltending, you don't have a chance to win in the playoffs.
See, it's not always about getting great goaltending to win. It's about getting good goaltending and timely goaltending where your goalie doesn't let in a crap goal. But when you let in the type of crap that Boucher, Layton, Bobrovsky, Boucher, Layton, Bobrovsky, Pete Peters, Chico Resch, whoever you want to say, they're all letting in crap goals. What does that do? Does it not deflate the entire team? Like, I saw them in Game 4. Last year, they came back from 3-0 down. Game 4 this season, there was no chance they were. They look like a defeated team.
It does. Everything is about goaltending. You made a great point. You don't need unbelievable goaltending. You need goaltending. You need a guy just to get in front of the puck, make the saves he's supposed to, and periodically make that one save that was supposed to be a goal. And that's what the team builds on confidence. They get excited when they see those big saves. It gets the fans pumped up. The players get pumped up. All our energy's big. When you got those, when the weak goals go in, the fans know it. Here we go again. So there's no energy in the building. The players don't feed off it, and it really hinders the team when you got goals that went in throughout the playoffs of a team like Philly.
Okay, Washington, Tampa, another sweep in the Eastern Conference. I thought Tampa was awesome. They've won 7 in a row. What do you think it is about this team that kind of woke them up when they were 3-1 down against Pittsburgh?
Well, I'm not surprised that Tampa won because I did call this series for Tampa to win. I didn't realize I think it'd be a sweep, but their leadership from Steve Yzerman, the coaching from Wayne Fleming, the experience that the players had around them. Malone, who's been in the playoffs, Stanley Cup winner. LeCavier, who's kind of turned into a mucker grinder. He's been in the league for quite a few years as a leadership role. St. Louis has experienced some, Team Canada, Olympic, competition style. So these guys have been in the grind for years. And so when they pull goalies like Drain Wilson, who's been around playoff run with Edmonton, when you bring that type of leadership and experience, you've got a calm sense of feeling that you're going into the game. Everyone's been in it. No one's panicking. And those guys could tell the younger players, listen, we've been in this position before. They know what to say because they've experienced it. So which gives the team that confidence.
Okay, so what about the other end of the ice, Washington Capitals, who Backstrom, Semin, those guys had their bags packed ready to go to the World Championships for months. But Ovechkin, I thought he was pretty good. And granted, they didn't win the series and they got swept. But could you ask for more out of a guy like Ovechkin, considering that guys like Semin and Backstrom and Green really weren't pulling their weight?
Yeah, well, you know what? They've got a lot of Europeans on their team. And, the three players you mentioned, they had an injury to Mike Knuble. Who didn't help, kind of hindered the chemistry a little bit. Goaltending, was it the best it could have been? Probably not. And when you mention, the style of the European players, when it comes into playoffs, it's a completely two different style of games where they have no experience in Stanley Cup playoffs. These guys, they've never made it past the second round for 2003. They're great during the regular season, but as soon as it comes to crunch time to win under pressure, the World Championship's just right around the corner. They're going to be able to play for their country's flag or play for the Stanley Cup. So, obviously their heart's playing for their country's flag.
It's unfortunate, but it might cost Coach Bruce Boudreau his job, which I think is absolutely ridiculous that we're talking about a coach with a .619 winning percentage. That's first amongst all time in coaches who have coached 250 or more games. And to suggest that he should lose his job because of their playoff failures is absolutely ridiculous. But don't you think if a team has the regular season that they had last year, 120 some odd points, the regular season they had this year, but I think 110 points they finished with, don't you have to say that if the guys can get it done in the regular season and they fail in the playoffs, it's the players' fault and not the coaches?
There's no question. I think the chemistry of the team is not Bruce Boudreau. I believe he was a coach in the LA Kings system when I was with the Kings, and he was coach in Manchester, and he's a players coach. The players love him. He's sort of that meat and potato guy. And when you get into a team full of Europeans, I don't believe, honestly.
Wait, hold on. What does that mean? What is a meat and potatoes guy? What the hell does that mean?
He's just simple. He's like, he'll sit down and have a beer with you, have a conversation with you. He's not this real in-depth guy. I mean, I think Washington's team during the season pretty much played themselves. Like, they had the ability. You got guys like Mike Green scoring and Semin. These guys just scored goals. This year they didn't do those, and I don't think he knew how to motivate them because they're on different pages. He's a simple blue-collar coach.
You said he'll sit down and have a beer with you? Do you ever sit down and have a beer with him?
I'm not sure. Too many concussions. Can't remember.
Do you think he'd remember your name if you saw him?
He probably would.
I'm going to say he probably wouldn't. I just get that feeling, Ken. Sorry to burst your bubble. Let's talk Vancouver-Nashville. Western Conference, 6 games, Vancouver wins. I really didn't get the sense of this series at all that Vancouver was light years ahead of Nashville. I thought that talent-wise, obviously, they were. But don't you think the Nashville Predators kind of showed San Jose a way that they could beat Vancouver by playing them really physical and really tough? And San Jose's got more talent than Nashville.
There's no question. I believe the Predators played with urgency. They were a team sort of, that played every night. It wasn't really they weren't skill-wise depth. No one even knew who half their players were. Who are these guys during the regular season? No one knows. And I believe, their team makeup is they just sort of grinded out every game. And I believe they played with more urgency. Vancouver won overall because of the skill level, the depth. Kessler obviously stepping it up throughout the playoffs, and the Sedins being there, and obviously with goaltending. So overall, Vancouver, they had a lot more depth for experience.
The Sedins were terrible all series. I think they were like a combined -12 or something. They cannot possibly win another round with Vancouver if the Sedins don't show up and they don't show at least a fraction of what they were in the regular season. They had no chance.
I think it was a time of the month for them, and I don't think they had a lot of energy. I think now the next round they may come with a little more fire.
So it lasted them the last 2 rounds, you're saying? Because they were terrible against Chicago as well.
They may have been. I mean, they may be going through some difficult changes. Maybe it's their age they're at. I'm not sure.
Okay, Detroit, San Jose. San Jose's up 3-0. Detroit comes back, wins 3 straight. We got a Game 7 the other night. And to me, it seemed like Detroit lost this series because of injuries, the players they lost. They lost Franzen in Game 5. They lost Cleary and Bertuzzi in Game 6. Datsuk was clearly playing with one hand, and Zetterberg was clearly not healthy as well. If they were healthy, don't you think this series might have been a little bit different?
Yeah, there's no question. And I think what happened, the same idea that, the Sharks had a 3-0 lead. They kind of put it in cruise mode that we just got to win one more. They figured, at this point, Detroit would be lucky to win one because of their down so far. And Detroit played with a sense of urgency. They showed it in Game 6, out shooting them almost 2-1. San Jose, they were on their heels the whole game, chasing, and Detroit was pushing. And so, every series, every game was a 1-goal game or an overtime loss or win. So it was great. It was great to see that a team like Detroit, with the injuries that they had, with the coach, they're able to poise a lot of energy and still make it a great series, which it was good to see for hockey.
Well, let me throw a stat at you. Do you know what Antti Niemi's series winning percentage is?
9.62?
No, he's never lost a Stanley Cup playoff series. I believe this is his 7th straight win, 4 with Chicago last year, 2 with San Jose, so that would be 6. But is it time that we consider this guy up there with the best goalies in the league?
No, definitely not. I mean, the teams he's been on, you say Chicago. Look at it. Look at the team they had in front of them last year. The defense and the offense he had in front of them. Same with the Sharks. No way in the world I would compare him to one of the top goalies in the league.
Okay, but look at the team that Boucher had in front of him in Philadelphia, and he was terrible. It cost the team the playoffs. It probably cost them a shot at the Stanley Cup. How can you not say that Niemi winning 4 rounds last year with Chicago, 1 over Nashville, 1 over Vancouver, 1 over San Jose, the team he plays for now, and then in the finals against Philly, and then 2 this year where he's held them in games, every single game that they deserve to lose, but nobody seems to talk about this guy when they put his name up there with Luongo, with Tim Thomas, with Ryan Miller. Nobody mentions his name.
No, because the names that we're mentioning are players, goaltenders that actually play game in, game out on an annual basis. Not just 7 games, 7 great games. That's great. I mean, was it Jim Carey, the goalie for the Bruins? He had won
Washington, you mean?
Was it Washington? But he was with the Bruins 1 year before I got there. The
and he
Bruins,
was terrible.
He never lost a game, and all of a sudden he signed a 3-year deal, $4 million a year, and he never played another game in the NHL. So, does he play good under pressure? There's no question. Is he elite in a Patrick Roy? Is he elite in the top end goalies? You can't put him in that category till he plays, full regular seasons and does it 3 or 4 times over.
He's got more cups than Luongo does, but before we wrap this up, let's go into predictions. So we got Vancouver, San Jose. I think Vancouver's going to win this series in 6 just because Detroit beat up San Jose. They're really tired, and I think the travel's really going to do them, man, having to go all the way across the country 5 times and then back and up to Vancouver. I'm going to say Vancouver in 6. What do you say?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you here. I think Vancouver has a little more juice left in them. I think San Jose, Detroit took a lot out of them. Going to Game 7 with the travel there is significant travel. So I think Vancouver's I still don't think they've actually played as well as they could in the playoffs. I think they've just won every round just because they just squeaked by it.
I agree. I totally agree with you on that. But what about the Tampa-Boston series? I just think Tampa's too good to win this series. I think they're going to win it in 6, to be honest. They won 7 in a row. I think Boston's a physical team, so that'll give them the edge in a few games. But I can totally see Tampa winning this in 6. What do you think?
I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go Boston in 6. I think some of the leadership, some of the experience that the Bruins have, they've been off for a while. They're rested up. The Bruins, same idea. They haven't played unbelievable hockey, I don't think. The Flyers, I don't believe were really a whole lot of competition for them with the goaltending. So I believe that they still haven't played the best game. Tampa Bay's I think they've played over their head for 2 rounds. I believe Rolson's played great. I believe the age may be a factor with Rolson now coming into it. And I believe the Bruins, with their overall experience, the players they have coaching, I think that you say Tampa hasn't lost in 7, and they haven't been on their heels yet. So let's put them on their heels with the Bruins firing with their size, and it should be interesting.
So you're saying Boston in 6?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, at least one of us is going to be right this round. That's going to do it today. We'll be back for the Code, and we'll be back for the Stanley Cup Finals. He's Ken Belanger. I'm Corey Landsberg.
I'm not afraid to take a stand, Everybody, come take